Yes, The Bastards of Istanbul by Elif Shafak today. The story was written by Elif Shafak in 2006, firstly in English language. Later on, the story has been translated into Turkish language and many other languages. It's a very famous story written by the very famous writer of many novels, specifically the 40 Rules of Love. Now the story revolves around two central characters. We have got Asya, a Turk lady about 21 years old, living in Istanbul with no parentage. Now she belongs to the Kazanchi family. Her name is Asya Kazanchi. And we have got another character. Her name is Armanosh. She is an Armenian and she has come to Istanbul from the United States of America, and she belongs to a family, Armenian family called the Chahmakhchian family. Now the story, it does not have a linear plot. We move backward and forward in the story. Also, we don't have a single setting. We have got different settings. We move to the United States of America. We come back to Istanbul, and in time also, in place also, we have got flashbacks. Okay, then this story, we have got the main, let's discuss the main characters of this story. We have got two families, as we have already discussed. We have got the Kazanchi family and we have got the Chahmakhchian family. Kazanchi is the Turk family and Chahmakhchian is the Armenian family. In the Kazanchi family, we have got Asya Kazanchi, we have got Zaliha Kazanchi, mother of Asya Kazanchi. We have got Banu, we have got Farida, and we have got Javeria Kazanchi, and we have got a male member of this family also who is living in the United States of America. His name is Mustafa Kazanchi. And in the Chahmakhchian family, we have got Barsam, father of Armanosh Kazanchi. We have got Rose, she is mother of Armanosh Kazanchi. And we have got Sushan, Sushan is the grandmother of Armanosh Kazanchi. Okay, the story, if we go through the plot of this, The Bastards of Istanbul, the story starts with a lady in 1986 in Istanbul, a lady, a beautiful lady. She has put on the modern attire. Now people are looking at her and cursing the rain and also like the road she is going towards a gynecologist for an abortion. She goes to the gynecologist. That scene is very beautifully in the very Istanbul, how women are looked at, what kind of accepted behavior has been imposed on the woman of the Istanbul, and how Zaliha Kazanchi a kind of shows her agency by not going with the accepted norms. She goes to this gynecologist, but anyhow, after she hears the prayer leader calling for the prayers, she doesn't go with her plan of the abortion, and she goes back to her family. Now she is cursed by her family members. In her family, there are the aunts, Banu, Javeria, and who else? Banu, Javeria, Farida, and like her mother, Kulsum. They are there, all of them, they are cursing her for staining the name of their family and for not following the traditions and the accepted norms, for putting on such a kind of obscene kind of dress there. Then this scene, it shifts to the United States of America. In the next chapter, we meet Mustafa, who is one of the male members of this Kazanchi family. He is shopping somewhere in the Arizona, the United States of America. There, the meeting of Mustafa and Rose Rose is the ex-wife of Barsam, father of Armanosh. They are shopping for the garbanzo beans. They're somewhere in the supermarket. Okay, now they meet there. Okay, now next we are told that Mustafa and Rose, they get married, and their marriage, it brings anxiety and a kind of disturbance to the family of the Chahmakhchians. Sushan is very much anxious about how could their ex-daughter-in-law marry a Turk, and she believes that just to have a revenge on them, she is going to marry a Turk man. As we come to know that the Armenians, they consider the Turks to be their enemies of the just because of the Armenian genocide by the Ottoman Empire back in 1905 or 1915, somewhere back. Okay, then this scene, it shifts once more to the Istanbul. We are shown that it's Asia's birthday. Asia, that then, like that daughter which Zaliha was going to abort in 1986, but she is now 21 years old, and she kind of doesn't know about her father. No one knows about who the father of Asia is, and she hates her birthdays. Okay, then we are also told, it once more shifts to the United States of America. We are told about the same age lady Armanosh Chahmakhchin, who are of the same age as Asia is. Now she is Barsam's child from Rose, as Rose is now married to Mustafa, so she spends her time sometimes with her mother Rose in Arizona, and sometimes with the family of her father, the Chahmakhchians. Okay, but she is very much inquisitive about the history. She likes very much the history, and she wants to know about the history of her grandmother Sushan, who had come from Istanbul and who knew about what had happened to the Armenians back in 1915. Then she has also got a chat room. That name of that chat room is Cafe Constantinople. Now there different people from all over the world, all the Armenians, they gather there, and they vent out their anger on the Turks because of the genocide they had committed on the Armenians. Now she wants to find out what truth lies behind that, and she wants to go to Turkey, Istanbul, to find out what actually had happened back in 1915. Without letting her family members know, neither her father nor her mother, she travels to Turkey. But before going there, she contacts the family of Mustafa, and she knows that Mustafa hails from Istanbul, so she contacts them. And Armanosh, when she's going there, she contacts the family of Mustafa. So Asya is told by her family members that the daughter of Mustafa is coming to Turkey, and you are going to serve as an interpreter of that lady. First of all, she is reluctant to do that, but when this lady Armanosh comes to Turkey, they befriend with one another. Now this is also an important part in befriending of Armanosh and Asya. Now Asya, she introduces this lady Armanosh to another setting, which is their Kafi Kundera. There some like-minded people like Asya, like a cartoonist who is there, and a poet and a story writer. They gather at a cafe whose name is Kundera Cafe. They go there parting from their family members to find solace there, so they spend their time there. She introduces this Armanosh with her friends at Cafe Kundera, and Armanosh introduces her to the Cafe Constantinople, the online chat room. Okay, now one thing we should know about it. Now, when Armanosh talks to the Turks about the genocide which had happened back in 1915, none of the Turks, they accept it as as they should be eligible for that, because they believe that we are not responsible for whatever had happened back then. Now it shows that the people of Turkey, either they have forgotten about it, or they don't consider that they have any share in the genocide of the Armenians in back in 1915. Okay, when Ormanosh comes to Turkey, neither of the families they know about her trip to Istanbul, but later on when they find out that Ormanosh is there in Istanbul, both Rose insists that she and Mustafa, they should also go to Turkey. But Mustafa is reluctant that he should not visit Turkey, because there is a certain sort of belief in the Kazanchi family that the family is suffering from some sort of curse, and the male members of the family, they they die when they reach a certain age, and Mustafa is about to reach 40, and he believes that if I travel to Turkey, my death is certain, I'm going to die. But Rose is an American lady, she doesn't believe in these superstitions. She insists that as her daughter is in Turkey, so they should visit Turkey. So they come after Armanosh to Istanbul. Now we've got a very important character here, that is Banu. Now Banu is some sort of sage kind of mysterious kind of character. She has got a genie with the name Mr. Bitter, and she talks to that Mr. Bitter and finds out what has happened around them. And through Mr. Bitter, she comes to know that Mustafa is actually the father of Asiya. It was Mustafa who had committed incest, and just because of that incest, this lady Asiya was born, and no one except Zaliha and one of her friends knew about the actual father of Asiya. So to Banu it was a very great revelation, and Banu wanted to have an end to this thing. So what Banu did is, when Mustafa arrived in Istanbul, Banu mixed a kind of food, or you can say a dessert, with potassium cyanide, and gave it to Mustafa. After eating this potassium cyanide, Mustafa died. When Mustafa passed away, when they were taking him to the cemetery for the funeral rituals, so then Zaliha told Asiya that Mustafa was your father. She was wonderstruck, because it was better not to know about her father, instead of knowing that Mustafa, whom she considered to be her uncle, turned out to be her father. Okay, then the next event comes in this story is about the historical connection of Armanosh with the Kazanchi family. Now Armanosh, as we know, she belongs to the Armenian Chakmakhchian family, and she has got a Sushan, her grandmother, which while these events were happening, she also passes away. Okay, previously when this genocide was being happened, now it was happening, Sushan's father, he was taken in imprisoned by the then authorities, and Sushan ended up in an orphanage. And from that orphanage, Mr. Salim Raza, the great-grandfather of the Kazanchis, he betrothed with her, and he took her from that orphanage to his home. From there she gave birth to Levan Kazanchi, their grandfather, and after giving birth to this Levan Kazanchi, she fled to the United States of America without letting anyone know that she is going there with her brother whom she had found. Then Banu, through that very Mr. Bitter, that's magic realism here, through this magic realism, some of the analysts, they call it pataphysics. Now Banu has got some sort of knowledge, mysterious knowledge. She reads these candles, she kind of talks to this Mr. Bitter, and she reads glasses, she reads jugs, so water jugs, and she knows about what had happened in the past and what is going to happen. So the mysterious things going on around them. Now through this Mr. Bitter, she comes to know that this Sushan was actually their great grandmother. So through that great grandmother, this lady Armanosh was connected to them, and there was a remembrance of that Sushan, the grandmother of Armanosh Kazanchi, a brooch which her father had given to her while he was being taken away by the police of that time. That brooch was kept very dearly by Sushan, and it had ended in the Kazanchi family, and that was kept very dearly by this lady Banu Kazanchi. At the end, she gives it to this lady Armanosh Chakhamachchin. So that with that the story ends. Now hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you very much for bearing with me. Thank you.